So this cop is upset that because of his Caucasian race, he's not getting promotions, has decided to file a lawsuit against the city of Chicago for the right to change his race. Now, part of me wants to say, this is the way. And part of me says, oh, man, if we start doing this, they may actually enjoy it and say, yes, yes, of course. Create this blank slate reality where anyone can be any race or any gender. That being said, I think for now it's easy to say this is a good thing because perhaps this lawsuit by this cop will expose the absurdity of changing your gender. The New York Post reports Chicago cop sues city for right to change his race after department allows officers to change their genders. Honest question. Why is one allowed and not the other? No, seriously, why is one allowed? Both are immutable. You can get your skin darkened or lightened. You can get surgery to appear like the other gender. Why is one legally allowed and one not? A Chicago police officer is suing the city to change his race on his official records after the department said it would allow officers to freely change their gender to match their identity. Muhammad Yusuf, 43, said in a federal civil rights lawsuit filed last week that he is looking to change from Caucasian, as he currently identifies as Egyptian and African American. However, the Chicago Police Department is not allowing him to change his race. Now, part of me has to wonder, is his name actually Muhammad Yusuf? It may be. As a white man, it is kind of a strange name, atypical, but I shouldn't say strange, but atypical, not normal, not average. We're trying to be nice here. Maybe this is like a white Irish guy named like Bill Smith who changed his name legally because that's what people do and they change their name for their gender. And then said, now that I'm Muhammad Yusuf, I want to change my race. And they're saying no. Well, I don't know for sure, but let's read more. The lawsuit comes as the department allows an officer's gender identity to be corrected to match their lived experience, Yusuf's lawsuit alleges. And the decision is impacting Yusuf's professional advancement, he claims. Fox News Digital reached out to the Chicago Police Department for a statement, and it said, we do not comment on pending litigation. According to the lawsuit, Yusuf alleges that he has been repeatedly overlooked for promotions due to his Caucasian race. These promotions, he claims, have been given to other minority applicants with only very few going to Caucasian applicants. The 20-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department points in his lawsuit to CPD's promotion system that particularly benefits minority candidates, even if they did not score well on promotional exams. Fact. Chicago does this. My family's got personal experience with this. They will intentionally ignore test results to hire and promote non-white people. And Mark Cuban claims it doesn't happen. I'm sick of these people, dude. It's my lived experience. My family actually dealt with this 25 years ago. That's how long this has been going on. I'm glad this guy is suing. Yusuf specifically claims that he scored in the first promotional tier on the sergeant's exam in 2019, but he was not promoted then and has still not received such a promotion. Since that time, he alleges in the lawsuit to have seen over 75 merit promotions to sergeant, with less than 5 going to candidates who identify as Caucasian. Despite Yusuf's exemplary qualifications and the purported race-neutral policy of the merit system, Yusuf has been repeatedly bypassed for promotion in favor of less qualified candidates based on their race, specifically African-American officers, some of whom had disciplinary issues and were not suitable for the responsibilities of a sergeant, Yusuf said in his complaint. Yusuf said he first joined the force in 2004, and at the time, the department only offered 3 race selections: Caucasian, Black, and Hispanic. He chose Caucasian, and it was put on his official record, he said. Now the department offers over 9 different racial designations for incoming officers, but it is stopping him from changing his race to more accurately reflect his identity due to a blanket prohibition against changing an officer's race, the legal filing said. After repeated rejections, Yusuf claims he was told he would first have to produce a DNA test before his race could be changed on his record. He then provided the results of a 23andMe genetic test, which showed his heritage and race. But the department ultimately said it was not possible to change his official records, he claims. Looks like this guy actually is Egyptian. The Racial Identity Policy ban facially and intentionally discriminates against certain individuals based on personally identifiable characteristics like race, the officer alleges. The lawsuit specifically alleges the city of Chicago is in violation of Title V of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Good. Good for him. And I hope he wins. You know, I think about this stuff. And as I said early on, part of me is like, if you get a white cop and he's like, I'm black now, the left wants that to happen. They want to erase these distinctions. So if you sue, they'll go, oh, I guess we have to do it. Then they're going to use that precedent for their gender ideology stuff. It's a difficult battle, isn't it? But I do wonder, I really, really do. How does one identify as a race versus a gender? Now, the left likes to argue that within us, the capability of gender exists. Men can be women, women can be men. And, I don't know. I don't know that that's true. You know, if women are XX and men are XY, that means certainly the men have X and Y, but women only have XX. They say that whether you'll be a boy or a girl, it comes from your father, because women do not have the Y chromosome. That is to say, men have within them male and female, but women have within them only female. And that being said, clearly we understand the ideology of the far left. Anyone can simply just choose to be the other gender, and then they'll say, sure, fine, whatever. What about race? And why not? I was told by many leftists that I am not Asian enough because I'm only a quarter, 20% Korean, 5% Japanese. How much of a race do you have to be to identify as that race? Honest question. Is 5% enough? Bang! I'm Japanese. From now on, I am Japanese American. I didn't even know it until a couple of years ago, to be honest, because I just thought I was Korean. But then we had a DNA test from the family. Turns out Japanese too. And boy, isn't that an interesting history. Yikes. But with that being said, and the long history of the Japanese and the Koreans, I've decided, I don't know, will my Korean ancestors feel like I have forsaken them? I identify, I'm 5% Japanese. I am Japanese. And that's it. From now on, Timcast is a Japanese-run show, and I can just say that. I mean, in all seriousness, though, like, can't I? How much of a race do you need to be to claim that you are that race? That's a question the left doesn't really have a good answer for. Typically, the left's response to this is based upon, well, different racial groups have different thresholds. And more importantly, do you agree with them? It's a really great video. I think it was by College Humor. I can't remember. Where it's a panel of a mixed race Asian determining whether or not someone has a right to use Asian stereotypes and jokes and things like that. I think it was like a full Asian, a half Asian, and a quarter Asian on a panel. And then people come in, and then one guy's like, I'm 1/8 Korean, my great grandmother. And they're like, okay, that means you can argue that your mom's food is better than the mall restaurants food, but you can't say it in front of other Asian people. And they're like, okay, and they're trying to determine this. It's a really, really funny video. And it's actually kind of weird because I'm like, it's a bit esoteric. I mean, like, it's funny to me because I'm part Asian, I guess. But then in the end, a guy walks in and he's like, I'm 1/8 black. And then all three of the panel goes, you're black. And that's an interesting concept in woke gender and racial ideology. Or I should say woke racial ideology. Gender ideology seems to make no sense. They just make genders up. They're like, hydrogender. I'm not kidding. They have hydrogender. They made it up. But in terms of race, it's like, if you are a certain race, then you can just claim to be purely of that race. So like Roseanne, for instance, gets in trouble because she didn't know that Valerie Jarrett was part black. And so when she insulted her, they were like, aha, that was racist. She's like, I didn't even know she was black. Doesn't matter. Those are the rules. And then when I come out and I say, I'm mixed race, they say, no, you're not. You're white. You don't count. Because it's actually about, do you support their ideology or not? This guy, it sounds like he provided a genetic test and he actually is Egyptian African American. And they won't let him. I have to wonder if when he joined, he checked Caucasian because he's like, I'm not black and I'm not Hispanic. Or if he was just like, I'll probably be better off if I put Caucasian. And now that you've got woke DEI stuff going on in these at these institutions, he's like, I probably should change it. It's holding me back. It's a brave new world, isn't it, my friends? And this is the reality where guys who are like, I guess I'm white, are now like, I don't want to be. And that's what they want. So I don't know that this is a good thing. I like that he's suing. I hope he wins. But part of me just says, look, man, they are going to be happy to say you're no longer white. I learned this when I was a kid. I am not legally a white person. I do not get counted in the census as a white person. Because I am mixed race, I get counted in the census as mixed race other. And that's what the far left wants. Hope he wins. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.